Have you ever noticed how something that once made you feel good now seems to weigh you down a little? Maybe it's your morning routine. You wake up, stretch, head to the kitchen, and put on that kettle for your favorite cup of tea. It's been part of your life for years, comforting, familiar, even a bit nostalgic. But lately, after that warm first sip, something feels off. Maybe it's a flutter in your chest, a light-headed moment, or just that nagging sense that your body's not quite on your side like it used to be. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And today, I want to talk to you about something most people never suspect, something hiding right in your cup. You see, after 60, our bodies don't work the same way they did when we were 30 or even 50. What once gave us energy might now rob us of it. What once kept us alert might now keep us up all night. And there's one popular tea that's been quietly causing problems for more and more older adults, and most of us don't even realize it. Now, this isn't about blaming the tea. It's not even about giving up everything you love. It's about understanding how your body changes and how the little choices you make each day can either help your heart or strain it. Because the truth is, something as simple as the type of tea you drink, yes, even the herbal kind, can affect your blood pressure, your heart rhythm, and even your sleep. And when your heart isn't resting, neither are you. So let's talk about it, just you and me. No scare tactics, no complicated science talk, just honest, caring advice that could help you feel better, sleep better, and stay safer. Now, the tea I'm talking about might be sitting in your cupboard right now. It's beloved for its bold flavor and natural energy boost. People sip it in the morning to wake up, or in the afternoon to push through that slump. Some even think of it as a healthier alternative to coffee. But here's the issue. This tea contains high levels of caffeine, even though it's not marketed that way. And if you're over 60, your body processes caffeine differently, more slowly, less efficiently, and with more noticeable side effects. Your liver, your kidneys, and yes, your heart all have to work harder to keep up. And that tea, it's black tea. Now, before you throw out your favorite mug, let's slow down for a moment. Black tea isn't evil. It's not poison. But after 60, what your body tolerates becomes different. It doesn't take a large amount, just 2 or 3 cups a day, before the effects start to quietly build up. Maybe you've noticed your heart racing at odd times. Maybe you've felt jittery, even though you haven't touched coffee in years. Maybe your blood pressure's crept up, even though you haven't changed your diet much. If any of that rings true, your tea might be playing a bigger role than you think. Caffeine stimulates the central nervous system, which can increase your heart rate. That's fine when you're young, bouncing from meeting to meeting or working out regularly. But with age, your heart muscle becomes less flexible, and your blood vessels a bit more fragile. Even mild stimulation, like that in black tea, can tip your heart into arrhythmia, or what doctors call irregular heartbeat. And here's the tricky part. Most people think it only happens if you're drinking something super strong, like espresso. But many common black teas, Earl Grey, English breakfast, chai, contain 40 to 70 milligrams of caffeine per cup. Drink 2 or 3 cups in a day, and suddenly you're pushing your heart much harder than it needs to go. Now, why does this matter so much? Because after 60, the risk of atrial fibrillation, a type of irregular heartbeat, rises significantly. And when your heart isn't beating the way it should, it can lead to fatigue, confusion, dizziness, and in more serious cases, blood clots or stroke. And I get it. Tea is comforting. It's a ritual. A warm cup in your hands on a cool morning feels like home. But if something as simple as switching the type of tea you drink could protect your heart, wouldn't that be worth considering? Let me tell you a little story. A woman named Linda, 67 years old, used to drink 3 cups of strong black tea every day. She had it down to a rhythm, 1 cup before breakfast, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 with her favorite TV show at night. She never thought much of it. But one day, after finishing her evening cup, she noticed her chest fluttering. Not painful, just strange. A few days later, it happened again, this time while walking up the stairs. She finally saw her doctor, who ran some tests and found her heart was slipping into irregular rhythms, likely triggered by cumulative caffeine and dehydration. She switched to rooibos tea, a naturally caffeine-free alternative, and started adding a pinch of cinnamon for flavor. Within weeks, her heart rate settled, her sleep improved, and she felt calmer overall. And the best part? She didn't give up her tea time, just made it work with her body, not against it. That's the kind of simple, gentle change that can make a big difference. Not by cutting out everything you love, but by being just a little more mindful. Now, if black tea is something you look forward to, it doesn't mean you need to stop immediately. But pay attention to how it makes you feel, especially after 60. Do you feel restless? Does your heart skip or race? Do you find yourself lying awake at night, even though you're tired? It might be time to try something different. Herbal teas like chamomile, rooibos, lemon balm, or ginger not only soothe your system, but often have heart-friendly properties, calming your blood pressure, easing inflammation, even helping digestion. And here's something else people often forget. Caffeine can hide in places you don't expect. Even decaf black tea isn't always fully caffeine-free. Some decaf teas still contain 2 to 5 milligrams per cup, which can add up, especially if your body's more sensitive now. Plus, there's a dehydration risk. Caffeine acts as a diuretic, which means it can make you lose more water than you take in. And as we age, our sense of thirst dulls. So we often forget to drink water thinking we're fine, while our hearts and kidneys struggle to operate without enough hydration. And when your body's running dry, your blood thickens slightly, your heart has to push harder to circulate it. That's not good for anyone, but especially not for an aging heart that's already working overtime. So the question becomes not, should I give up tea forever? But, what kind of tea helps me thrive now at this stage of life? That kind of shift, from autopilot to intention, is where your power lies. Because the truth is, after 60, it's not about doing what you've always done. It's about tuning in, listening to your body, watching how it responds, and adjusting gently, kindly, in ways that support your health rather than challenge it. And sometimes the smallest switch, like reaching for a different tea bag, can be the first step toward a heart that beats more calmly, a night of deeper sleep, and a morning that doesn't begin with jitters. Let's keep exploring that together, because it's never just about the tea. It's about how one simple habit can ripple into your day in ways you might not even realize. Now let's pause for a moment and think back. Have you ever had one of those days where everything just felt off? Maybe you couldn't quite catch your breath, or your chest felt tight for no obvious reason. You assumed it was just stress, or maybe you didn't sleep well. But when these little warning signs come back again and again, it's worth asking, what's been consistent in your daily routine? For many people over 60, the answer is tea. That morning cup, the one you've brewed the same way for years, could be quietly adding pressure to a system that's already more delicate than it used to be. And if it's not black tea, sometimes it's something that sounds even healthier, like green tea. Now, green tea has a reputation for being gentle, full of antioxidants, even helpful for metabolism. And that's true, to a point. But what many folks don't realize is that green tea still contains caffeine. In fact, depending on the type and how it's brewed, some green teas can approach the caffeine levels of black tea. But here's where it gets tricky. Green tea affects people differently. For younger adults, it might feel calming. But for seniors, especially those with heart conditions, high blood pressure, or sensitivity to stimulants, even a modest amount of caffeine can tip the balance. You might notice it as a racing heart at rest, or that annoying sensation that your thoughts won't slow down when you're trying to fall asleep. Maybe your hands feel a little more shaky than usual, or your digestion seems off. All of these can be tied back to how your body's responding to that one healthy cup of tea. And then there's the interaction with medications. This is something that often gets overlooked. Many common prescriptions, especially our blood pressure meds, heart medications, and even thyroid pills, can be affected by caffeine. It might speed up how your body absorbs a medication, or slow it down, or make side effects worse. And because we often don't associate tea with strong effects, we forget to mention it to our doctors. But your doctor needs to know, not so they can tell you to give up everything, but so they can help you Find a routine that supports your health, not competes with it. Let me share another story. There's a gentleman named Harold. He's 73. Still active, still walking every morning, still proud of doing the crossword in ink. He drank green tea twice a day, thinking he was making the better choice. But he started having trouble sleeping. He blamed it on age. Then he started getting dizzy spells, usually mid-morning. His doctor checked his medications, checked his heart, and nothing serious came up. But then Harold mentioned the tea. And it clicked. The caffeine in the green tea was interfering with the way his blood pressure medication worked. Instead of keeping his numbers stable, it was swinging him too low, then rebounding too high. Just by switching to a naturally caffeine-free tea like hibiscus, a heart-friendly option by the way, he got back to balance. And best of all, he slept through the night for the first time in months. Stories like Harold's aren't rare. They're just rarely recognized, because we're so used to thinking of tea as gentle, harmless, even medicinal. But even gentle things can become too much when the body changes. It's a little like walking. Walking is wonderful. But after 70, too much of it, especially without breaks or hydration, can start to wear down the joints or stress the heart. Tea is the same. What helps in moderation can quietly hurt in excess, especially when we aren't watching for the signs. And speaking of signs, let's talk about one more that's easy to miss. Anxiety. Yes, anxiety. Caffeine doesn't just affect your heart and sleep. It can also affect your mind. After 60, the brain becomes more sensitive to chemical changes. You may have noticed that you feel more reactive, more easily startled, or just more on edge lately. And while life itself brings stress, caffeine can amplify it. Even if you don't feel anxious, your body might be reacting as if you are. Faster heartbeat, shallow breathing, tightness in your chest. And this creates a kind of feedback loop. You drink the tea, feel slightly jittery, can't relax. You go to bed, can't fall asleep. You wake up tired, so you make another cup. And the cycle continues. But when you step back and look at it clearly, the solution becomes gentle and obvious. Try something new. Instead of black or green tea, try a cup of lemon balm tea in the morning. It has a light citrus scent, and studies show it can help with calm focus without the caffeine. If you want something bold and warm in the afternoon, try chicory root tea. It brews dark and rich, almost like coffee, but has no caffeine at all and is good for digestion. And for the evening, chamomile, of course, but also consider passion flower or lavender tea. Both support healthy sleep and calm the nervous system, making them ideal choices for winding down. These aren't fringe suggestions, they're old-world remedies that have been used for centuries, and modern science is finally catching up to what grandmothers around the world already knew. You don't have to give up your tea time, you just need to make it work for you now, because you're not who you were at 40, and that's not a loss, that's wisdom. You've earned the right to make choices that are kinder, gentler, and smarter. You've earned mornings that feel steady, afternoons that feel energized without the crash, and nights where you close your eyes and sleep through without worry. It's never too late to start listening to your body and giving it the kind of care it's been asking for. And it begins with the simple act of boiling water and asking yourself, is what I'm about to drink helping me feel better or making things harder for my heart? When you start your day with intention instead of habit, everything changes. Let's keep following that feeling. You know, it's amazing how often we move through the day on autopilot, especially with things we've done for decades. We don't even think about that cup of tea we pour. It's just part of the rhythm, like brushing your teeth or flipping on the morning news. But once we start noticing how certain things make us feel, it opens up a whole new level of awareness. And once you become aware, you get to make better choices. You're in the driver's seat again. Now, one thing I hear often from folks is, but I've been drinking tea my whole life. It never bothered me before. That's totally fair and true. But the key words there are before, because your body at 30 is not your body at 60 or 70. And that's not a problem, it's just change. Change isn't always easy, but it's part of staying well. Let me give you an example. Imagine your heart as a strong little engine. In your younger years, it could rev, accelerate, and handle sudden bursts without complaint. But over time, Even the best engines need gentler handling. Maybe you wouldn't floor the gas pedal in a 20-year-old car, right? Not because the car isn't valuable, but because you care about keeping it running. Your heart is no different. It doesn't need high-octane stimulation anymore. It needs steady, gentle fuel. And guess what? The teas we've been talking about, black, green, and even some energy herbal blends, they act like that gas pedal. They push the heart a little too hard, a little too often. Not enough to feel dangerous right away, but just enough to add stress, day after day, year after year. And that's where risk sneaks in, not through big, dramatic events, but through quiet, repeated strain. Now, some of you might be thinking, all right, so I'll just switch to decaf black tea and I'll be fine. That's a great instinct. But here's something you may not know. Decaffeinated tea still contains trace amounts of caffeine, enough to affect sensitive systems. And more than that, the decaffeination process itself sometimes involves chemicals or methods that strip away not just caffeine, but also some of the tea's natural antioxidants. So while it's better than regular black tea, it might not be the ideal choice for a heart that's already working overtime. And we haven't even touched on sugar yet. A lot of people sweeten their tea without really thinking about it. Just a teaspoon here or a dash of honey there. But if you're drinking 3 cups a day, that adds up quickly. Sugar, especially refined sugar, spikes your blood glucose, which in turn makes your heart work harder. And over time, high sugar intake can increase your risk of insulin resistance, inflammation, and yes, heart disease. So we've got a bit of a triple threat going on in that innocent-looking mug: caffeine, dehydration, and sugar. Together, they create a cocktail that's just not friendly to a senior heart. But, and this is important, this isn't about guilt. It's not about saying, oh no, I've been doing it wrong. You haven't. You've been doing what felt right for years. That's okay. This is about now. And now you've got new information. Now you've got the opportunity to treat your body with the care and tenderness it deserves in this new stage of life. So let's pivot to what you can do. Let's say you're used to having black tea every morning. Start by swapping out just one of those cups for a caffeine-free option. It could be something floral like rose hip, or grounding like roasted dandelion root. If you're someone who likes bold flavors, try a blend of rooibos and cinnamon. It gives that rich, full-bodied taste without any of the caffeine or heart strain. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. In fact, easing into changes is usually more sustainable. Start slow and pay attention to how you feel. Are your afternoons a little steadier? Is your sleep a bit deeper? Are you waking up less in the night? These small shifts are your body's way of saying, thank you. And here's another tip. Drink your tea with intention. Make it a moment of calm. Sit by the window. Let the warmth settle into your hands before you sip. Take a few deep breaths. This sounds simple, but it sends signals to your nervous system that you're safe, that it's okay to relax. And the more your nervous system relaxes, the less pressure there is on your heart. You see, the body isn't just a machine, it's a symphony. Everything is connected. Your sleep affects your blood pressure, your hydration affects your digestion, your stress affects your heart rhythm, and something as ordinary as tea can either support that balance or gently tip it out of tune. And I want to say something here, especially to those of you who live alone. Tea time isn't just about what's in the cup. It's often about routine, comfort, even a little company. So if you're thinking, I can't give up my black tea, who would I even be without it? I get that. You're not just changing a beverage, you're changing something that feels like home. That's why I always suggest replacing, not removing. Don't leave an empty space where black tea used to be. Fill it with something new, something kind, something that loves your heart as much as you do. If you like your tea with a little sweetness, try a touch of stevia leaf or a slice of dried apple. If you like it creamy, use oat milk or almond milk. Create a ritual that feels good and does good. And don't be afraid to explore new things. There are so many beautiful caffeine-free blends out there. Chamomile with lavender, hibiscus with mint, fennel with licorice root. Each has its own flavor, its own benefit, its own little gift. Trying something new doesn't mean letting go of the past. It means stepping into your future with care, with wisdom, with grace, because you're not here to just get through the day. You're here to feel good, to move through your life with energy, steadiness, and peace. And if changing your tea can help support that, well, that's a small shift for a big reward. Let's keep going. Let's keep caring. There's still more to uncover together. And maybe, just maybe, as we move forward together, we begin to see that wellness isn't about grand gestures or miracle cures. It's in the everyday things, the cup you hold in your hands each morning, the way your body responds when you choose differently, the quiet confidence that grows when you feel just a little more in control of your health. Because the truth is, after 60, everything feels a bit more precious, doesn't it? Your time, your energy, your peace. So why spend any of it battling racing thoughts, jittery hands, or an unsettled heart when there's a gentler path right in front of you? And speaking of gentle, there's a tea that's become a favorite among many seniors who've made the shift, hibiscus. Bright in color, tart and refreshing, this beautiful red herbal tea isn't just caffeine-free. It's been shown in multiple studies to help lower blood pressure. Imagine that, a tea that not only avoids harming your heart, but actively helps it. Now, I'm not here to sell you on hibiscus. It's not magic. It's not for everyone, especially those on certain medications like diuretics. But it's a great example of what's possible when you choose tea with intention. There are options that support your body rather than stress it. And that's the shift we're really talking about today. Letting go of black tea, or any high caffeine tea, doesn't mean giving up flavor, ritual, or comfort. It means stepping into a version of your life where your body feels more supported, more steady, and more in sync with what it actually needs right now. And here's something else we haven't talked about yet: digestion. As we age, digestion tends to slow down. It's just a fact of life. We don't break things down as quickly, and we often feel fuller longer. Sometimes that's a good thing, but it also means that stimulants like caffeine, which get absorbed quickly and can irritate the digestive lining, can cause more discomfort than they used to. Ever notice that stomachache or that bit of acid reflux that seems to sneak up after tea? That might not be what you think. Black tea contains tannins, compounds that give it that dry, astringent flavor, and those can increase stomach acid, especially on an empty stomach. Over time, that irritation can lead to chronic heartburn, bloating, or even affect nutrient absorption. Now imagine your daily cup, once a source of calm, slowly becoming the thing that causes a burning sensation or a sluggish belly. It's not just unpleasant, it can throw off your entire day, and you deserve better. Instead of settling for, "That's just how my body is now," you get to say, "What's actually causing this? What can I shift to feel better?" And that's a powerful place to be. I remember a man named Dennis. He's 69 and proud of it. He's sharp, active, and used to be a lifelong English breakfast tea drinker. But for years, he struggled with afternoon indigestion. He thought it was just part of getting older. Then one day, his daughter suggested trying peppermint tea after lunch instead of his usual black brew. Just one small change. Within a week, the bloating eased, the discomfort faded. He still gets that soothing tea break he loves, but now it ends in a smile instead of a wince. There's something almost poetic about that, isn't there? That the same ritual, water, herbs, a quiet moment, can either burden your body or support it. The choice lies in the details, and when you learn to listen, your body always tells you what's working and what's not. So if your heart has been whispering lately, through skipped beats, restless sleep, or unexplained fatigue, this might be the nudge it's been waiting for. Not a lecture, not a warning, just a soft, encouraging invitation to tune in and make one small change. And maybe today, that change is looking at your tea with new eyes. Try something herbal. Try it without sweetener. Try it warm and slow and mindful. See how it feels. Maybe your hands feel steadier. Maybe your chest feels lighter. Maybe your evening comes with more ease, and your mornings feel less rushed. Every little improvement matters, and they stack up. A better night's sleep makes the next day brighter. A steadier heartbeat gives you more confidence to go for that walk or join that class. Less indigestion means more freedom to enjoy your favorite foods. It's all connected. And if you've already been wondering deep down whether your tea could be doing more harm than good, well, you're not alone. You're not imagining it. You're just ahead of the curve. You're already listening. And that's where real health begins. Not in a doctor's office, not in a bottle, but in the small, honest moments where you say, how do I really feel right now? And what would feel better? Let that be your guide. Let you be your guide, because you have more wisdom in your pinky finger than most people gather in a lifetime. And your life now, it deserves choices that match that wisdom. So keep your tea, keep the warmth, the ritual, the comfort. Just choose the kind that lets your heart rest easy. Choose the blend that calms, not spikes, that nourishes, not depletes. That gives back, not takes away, because that's not just a better tea, that's a better life. And you, my friend, are more than worth it. Let's keep going. There's still more to notice, more to learn, more ways to love the life you're in, starting with that next sip. And as you take that next sip, maybe it's a soothing chamomile or a gently spiced rooibos, you might feel something subtle shifting. It's not dramatic, there's no big moment, just a quiet kind of ease settling in, like your body finally exhaling. That's what happens when you start giving it what it's really been asking for. And the best part? You didn't need a prescription, you didn't need a lecture, you just needed to listen, to notice, to care. That's the power of awareness. Because here's the thing, after 60, your body doesn't want to fight anymore. It wants peace, it wants rest and rhythm and balance. And so often we spend years pushing through symptoms, brushing off signals, adjusting to discomfort like it's just a part of aging. But aging isn't about falling apart. It's about growing into yourself, knowing more, sensing more, choosing more wisely. And sometimes that wisdom shows up in your kitchen cabinet. Now let's talk about something that affects millions of older adults and is deeply connected to what we've been discussing, sleep. So many people over 60 struggle with falling asleep or staying asleep. You might wake up at 3 a.m. for no reason, stare at the ceiling, and feel your heart beating just a little too loud in your chest. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's hormones, or maybe it's that cup of tea you had a few hours earlier. It doesn't matter that it wasn't coffee. It doesn't matter that it was only 1 cup. After 60, your liver processes caffeine more slowly. What used to leave your system in 4 hours might now linger for 8 or more. That means even a midday tea can still be in your bloodstream at bedtime, gently agitating your nervous system, making it harder to drop into deep sleep, even if you do fall asleep. And here's where it becomes a cycle. Poor sleep leads to daytime fatigue. Daytime fatigue leads to more caffeine. More caffeine leads to worse sleep. And on it goes. But when you step outside that loop, even just a little, you give your body the space it needs to heal. And yes, restful sleep is healing. It lowers your blood pressure. It helps regulate blood sugar. It supports your immune system, your memory, even your mood. And all of that adds up to a longer, stronger, more joyful life. So what if your tea could help with sleep instead of hurt it? What if your evening routine included a warm cup of something calming, like valerian root or passion flower, or even a soft blend of lemon balm and lavender? These aren't just pleasant flavors, they're gentle plant allies that have been used for centuries to help the body relax. They don't sedate you, they support your natural rhythm, allowing your system to unwind and settle. I've spoken with folks who haven't slept through the night in over a year, and all it took to change that was removing caffeine after noon and swapping in an herbal tea before bed. That's not just better sleep, that's waking up with more clarity, feeling less foggy, less irritable, more ready to enjoy the day ahead. You see, the small choices we make in the evening shape the kind of day we wake up to, and that's especially true after 60, when the body is more sensitive and more responsive to subtle shifts. Let me share a story about Elaine, a 72-year-old grandmother of 5. She loved her afternoon chai, sweet, milky, comforting. But every night around 2 a.m. she was wide awake. She tried cutting back on screen time, took a walk every afternoon, even used blackout curtains. Nothing worked. Then her granddaughter, who was studying nutrition, suggested switching her chai for a caffeine-free cinnamon tea with warm oat milk. same comfort, same ritual, but no caffeine. Within 2 weeks, Elaine was sleeping through the night. Not only that, her daytime energy improved. She started gardening again, joined a community book club, and you could hear the difference in her voice, softer, steadier, happier. It wasn't magic, it was alignment. And I want that for you too, because feeling good isn't a luxury, it's a right. You deserve mornings that feel fresh, not frazzled, afternoons that feel calm, not jittery, nights that cradle you into deep, healing rest. You deserve to feel connected to your body instead of confused by it. You deserve to trust that the choices you're making are working with your heart, your mind, your whole being, not quietly pushing against it. So here's what I encourage you to do next time you reach for that familiar tea bag. Pause, breathe, ask yourself, how do I want to feel in an hour, in the evening, tomorrow morning? And then let that answer guide you. Not habit, not tradition, not what you used to do, but what you want to feel, what your body needs today. That's the beauty of this chapter of life. You're not rushing anymore. You're not proving anything. You're simply choosing with care and clarity and kindness. And those choices, they add up. They shape the way you move through each day. And those days, they become your life, one cup at a time. So here's to you, to your steady heart, your peaceful nights, your gentle mornings, and your quiet courage to say, well, I think I'll try something new today because I'm worth it. Let's keep walking that path together. There's still more to explore, more ways to listen to your body, more simple shifts that lead to lasting change, and you're doing beautifully. Don't stop now. And as we keep walking this path together, I want you to really take that in. You are doing beautifully. Every time you pause to listen to your body, every time you question a long-standing habit with curiosity instead of fear, you're rewriting the script, not just for your health, but for your sense of self. And at this stage in life, that is no small thing. Let's talk about one more hidden truth that often surprises people. Not all herbal teas are harmless. I know, after everything we've just said about the joys of switching to herbal options, that might sound confusing, but it's important, because just like black and green teas can pose challenges, some herbal blends can carry hidden risks too, especially for people over 60 or anyone taking daily medications. Take licorice root, for example. It's a common ingredient in teas marketed as detox or soothing for digestion. But real licorice root, not the flavoring, but the actual herb, can raise blood pressure significantly, even with small amounts. It can also lower potassium levels, which is dangerous if you're on heart medications or diuretics. The effect is subtle at first. You might just feel a little more tired, a little puffier, maybe even short of breath after climbing stairs. But over time, that pressure adds up. Another one to watch out for is ginseng. Often found in energy teas, ginseng is touted as a natural stimulant and immune booster. And while that might be fine for a younger person, in seniors, it can increase heart rate, disrupt sleep, and even interact with medications like blood thinners or diabetes drugs. That's the danger of so-called natural products. They don't always play nice with what's already in your system. Even peppermint tea, which is generally safe, can cause acid reflux in some people. It relaxes the muscle between the stomach and the esophagus, which is great for easing cramps, but not so great if you're already prone to heartburn. Now, this doesn't mean herbal teas are bad, far from it. But it does mean you should treat them with the same care and attention you'd give any part of your health. Read labels, look up ingredients. Ask your pharmacist or doctor, is this okay with my meds? That's not overreacting, it's being wise. It's owning your wellness, and if that feels like a lot to navigate, here's a simple approach. Start with single-ingredient teas: chamomile, rooibos, lemon balm, ginger. These are gentle, well-tolerated herbs that rarely cause problems. You can always blend from there. Maybe you steep chamomile with a slice of fresh ginger, or rooibos with a stick of cinnamon and a dash of vanilla extract. Suddenly you've got something comforting, familiar, and unique to you, and the more you tune in to how these blends make you feel, the better you'll get at choosing what supports your body and soul, not just your taste buds. Because let's be honest, after 60, life gets simpler but deeper. You're not chasing trends. You're not looking for instant fixes. You're seeking what works, what soothes, What feels right, not just for a moment, but for a whole day, for a better night, for a more vibrant tomorrow. And that's what this conversation is really about. Not just tea, but trust. Trust in yourself to notice, to adapt, to let go of what no longer serves and lean into what truly nourishes. You know, one of the things I love about people in this season of life is that you've lived through so much. You've seen fads come and go, advice change, science evolve. But through all of that, you've gained a quiet kind of wisdom that younger people just don't have yet. You know how to spot what's real, what's lasting, and you're not afraid to say, that worked for me once, but it doesn't anymore, and that's okay. That kind of self-honesty is powerful, it's rare, and it gives you an incredible advantage when it comes to your health, because you don't need perfection, you don't need the latest miracle, you just need the truth and the gentle courage to act on it. So if this message stirred something in you today, if you're sitting there looking at your teacup and wondering, maybe it's time for a change, then let this be your permission, your encouragement, your nudge. You are not too set in your ways to try something new. You are not too old to feel better than you've felt in years, and you are not stuck with the discomforts that have quietly crept in over time. Sometimes the difference between foggy and clear, between anxious and calm, between tired and alive, is just one small decision. A different tea, a new rhythm, a softer way of starting your day. You deserve that. You've earned that. So next time you open your cupboard, take a moment to pause. Choose with care, choose with love, and choose with the deep, quiet knowing that small steps lead to big peace. Your heart is listening, and now so are you. And now that you're listening, really listening, something beautiful starts to happen. You begin to notice things you hadn't before. The way your hands feel steadier in the morning. The way your chest doesn't flutter so often after lunch. The way your thoughts don't race at bedtime but slow into a gentle hush like a tide pulling back from the shore. These aren't dramatic changes, but they're meaningful. They're your body's way of saying, thank you. Because when we stop fighting what's changing and instead work with it, life gets easier, not harder. And let's be honest, after everything you've lived through, you deserve more ease, more calm, more deep breaths, more good mornings that don't feel rushed, more nights that end not with tossing and turning, but with the quiet satisfaction of a day well lived. That's why this conversation isn't just about what not to drink. It's about what you can do to love your heart, your sleep, your energy, all starting with a cup. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I've tried changing before and it didn't stick. That's okay. We've all been there. The truth is, real change doesn't come from force. It doesn't come from fear or guilt or some big health scare that sends us scrambling. It comes from care, from self-respect, from finally seeing that your health isn't something separate from your life. It is your life. And when you choose something as simple as a heart-soothing tea, you're not just making a healthier decision, you're sending a quiet message to yourself. I matter. I'm worth the extra thought. I'm not too old to learn something new. And you are worth that. In fact, let me tell you something that most people don't hear enough, especially not later in life. You're not behind. You're not too late. You didn't mess it all up. Your body still wants to heal. Your mind still wants clarity. Your heart still wants peace. And it's all still possible. One shift at a time. So what can you do starting today? You can begin by simply observing. Keep your usual routine for one more day, but really watch how it makes you feel. When you sip that familiar black tea, does your heart feel calm or a little jittery? Do you feel warm and focused or a bit anxious or dry? Do you sleep through the night or find yourself wide awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling? No judgment, no rush, just notice. Because noticing is the beginning of wisdom. And the moment you start noticing, you begin to regain control. Then tomorrow or the next day, try something different. Swap just one cup. Choose a tea that gives back to your body instead of taking energy away. Maybe it's rooibos with a touch of cinnamon. Maybe it's warm ginger and turmeric. Maybe it's something floral like chamomile and rose. Let your senses guide you. Let the warmth of the mug remind you that you're choosing something good for you. And if it feels strange at first, that's normal. Change always feels a little odd in the beginning, but give it time. Let your body show you what it feels like to be in better balance, to rest more deeply, to move more steadily, to feel at home in your skin again, because the real gift of this season of life isn't in clinging to the past, it's in embracing how wise and intuitive you've become. You know what doesn't feel good anymore, and now you know what to do about it. You've earned the right to live in alignment with your body, your heart, your truth. And if you're still unsure, if you're still holding on to that box of black tea in the cupboard, just remember this. Nothing changes overnight, but everything changes eventually when you take one small step in the right direction. You've already taken that step by being here, by opening your heart to new information, by caring enough to learn. That matters, that counts, that's the beginning of something better. So, here's to you, to your health, to your sleep, to your steady, peaceful heartbeat, to mornings that feel clear, and afternoons that feel calm, and evenings that ease you into the kind of rest your body has been craving for years. Here's to letting go of what no longer serves you, and to finding new comfort in choices that lift you up, not wear you down. It's never too late to feel better. And you're already on your way. Now go ahead, warm that kettle, choose something that loves you back, and raise your cup to the beautiful truth that you are worth caring for, today, tomorrow, always. Cheers to your next chapter, filled with comfort, calm, and the quiet joy of a body in harmony with your choices. You've got this. And I'm with you every sip of the way. And as we wrap our hands around that warm mug, whatever blend you've chosen today, let's take a quiet moment together. A pause, right here, right now, just to breathe. To feel grateful for a body that's still trying its best, for a mind that's still curious, and for a heart that's still open to growth, even after all these years. That's something I hope you never forget. Your ability to grow has nothing to do with your age. In fact, I'd argue that this kind of growth, gentle, intentional, from the inside out, is one of the greatest strengths that comes with age. When you're 20, you rush to change things fast, but when you're 60, 70 or beyond, you know that real change happens slowly, thoughtfully. It sticks because it's rooted in self-respect, not pressure. And now you've got something many people don't, a new lens, a deeper understanding of how something as simple as tea, so small, so ordinary, can affect something as vital as your heart, your rest, your peace of mind. You'll see it differently now. That morning cup isn't just habit, it's a decision. That afternoon refill isn't automatic anymore, it's an opportunity. And that evening sip before bed, that becomes sacred, a gift you give yourself at the close of each day. And here's the beautiful twist in this journey. When you make better choices for your heart, your whole life opens up. Suddenly you have more energy to play with your grandkids, to take longer walks without needing to sit down and catch your breath, to laugh without that little tension in your chest, to enjoy meals without indigestion, to drift into sleep without fear of waking with a pounding heart or racing mind. That's not just about tea, that's about freedom, peace, joy, and you deserve all of it. You know, so many of us spend our younger years looking outside ourselves for answers, doctors, books, experts. And while there's value in all of that, the greatest expert on you is you. No one knows how your body feels after certain habits better than you do. No one notices the tiny shifts, the quiet discomforts, or the moments of ease quite like you can. So keep listening, keep asking, keep noticing. Ask yourself, how do I feel after I drink this? How do I sleep after this choice? How does my heart respond? Not just physically, but emotionally. Because your heart isn't just a muscle, it's where your intuition lives. It's where you hold worry, joy, memory, and hope. It deserves to be treated with the same tenderness you'd give to someone you love deeply, and I hope more and more that someone is you. This journey we're on together, it's not really about tea, it's about how you care for yourself, your body, your spirit, your habits as you age. You've learned to care for others your whole life. You've made meals, mended wounds, stayed up late worrying for the people you love. Now it's time to turn that same kind of love inward. And if it starts with a mug in your hand, what a perfect place to begin. So here's what I invite you to do today, tonight, or tomorrow morning. When you choose your tea, slow down. Make it a moment. Let it be something sacred. Let it be something that says, I choose peace, I choose ease, I choose me. Try a blend that calms you, that supports your body instead of overstimulating it, that prepares you to rest, or energizes you gently, or simply makes you feel good, without consequences. And know this, change doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes the quietest decisions are the ones that change everything. One cup, one breath, one heartbeat at a time. So if you've made it this far in our time together, I want to thank you, not just for listening, but for caring enough to consider what's best for your beautiful, resilient, still growing self. You're not done yet. You're not stuck. And you're certainly not too old to thrive. Every step forward, every better choice, every ounce of curiosity you bring to your daily life, it's all proof that you still matter, that your health matters, that your comfort matters, that your days, no matter how many stretch ahead, deserve to feel light, free, and full of vitality. So drink deeply, not just from your cup, but from this moment. And the next time someone says, it's just tea, you can smile softly and say, not for me. For me, it's a choice. For me, it's how I love myself. And you'll mean every word. Here's to you, to your health, to your peace, and to the quiet revolution happening right there in your kitchen with every warm, healing, intentional sip. And with each sip, that quiet revolution begins to ripple outward, not just in your body, but in the way you carry yourself. You'll notice it in the steadiness of your steps, the clarity of your thoughts, the way your shoulders don't feel quite so heavy at the end of the day. It's the difference between merely getting through the day and actually enjoying it. Because when your heart isn't working overtime, when your sleep is deeper and your nerves are calmer, everything changes. You have more patience, more joy, more energy for the little things that make life rich. Reading a good book, calling a friend, sitting outside in the sun and feeling that warm breeze on your face. And maybe best of all, you have more presence. You're not distracted by discomfort or fatigue or worry about that little flutter in your chest. You're just there, fully in the moment, able to show up for your life, not just as a passenger, but as the driver. And that's really what this journey has been about all along, not just avoiding harm, but reclaiming that feeling of wholeness and that deep, grounded sense that you're caring for yourself in a way that's thoughtful, mature, and full of love. Because love doesn't always look like grand gestures. Sometimes it's as simple as opening the cupboard and reaching for something that supports your heart instead of stressing it. And I know there may be moments when you forget, when you fall back into old routines, when you think one cup won't hurt. And you know what? That's okay. You're human. You've lived a long life full of habits and memories and familiar comforts. But now you've also lived a few pages longer into awareness, and that's not something you can unknow. So if you have that cup of black tea next week and your heart flutters or your sleep is restless, you'll notice, you'll remember, and maybe next time you'll make a different choice, not out of fear, but out of care. Because that's what love does. It notices, it adjusts, it evolves. And don't be surprised if other people in your life start to notice the shift in you. A daughter who says, "Mum, you seem calmer lately." A neighbour who asks, "What's your secret?" You've got this glow about you. Or maybe even just that inner voice, the one that's been quiet for a while, finally whispering, "I feel good." That's not small. That's not just a tea swap, that's transformation. And here's the beautiful part. You're not done. Not by a long shot. There's still so much more joy ahead, more comfort, more strength. More mornings when you wake up rested and clear and grateful. More evenings that end not with worry but with peace, because you've chosen to care. And that choice ripples into everything. So as we bring this journey to a close, I want you to remember something gentle but powerful. Your health isn't about fixing what's broken, it's about nurturing what's still strong. And you, my friend, are stronger than you think. So keep listening, keep choosing, keep treating your body like the trusted companion it is. And if all of this started with one simple idea, maybe I should rethink the tea I drink each day? Imagine what else is possible. A better night's sleep, a steadier heartbeat, a brighter morning, a life that feels more like yours again. You're already on the path. So go ahead, pour that next cup with purpose. Wrap your hands around it like you would an old friend and take a deep breath. You're doing this one day, one cup, one heartbeat at a time. Here's to your health, here's to your heart, and here's to living your most peaceful, present, and powerful years starting now.